Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, welcome to Flushing Town Hall. My name is Ellen Kodadek, and I'm the Executive and Artistic Director of Flushing Town Hall. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good to see you all as well. I hope we're going to start on time. The reason being that the performers are having so much fun backstage, hanging out and chatting and telling stories. I'm like, gotta stop talking, gotta come out and play. So, at Flushing Town Hall, our mission slogan is Global Arts for a Global Community. And this, our global community, began with the first people of Queens. And so we acknowledge that we are on the traditional land of the Matinecock people, one of the original tribes of New York, and the first people of Flushing, Queens, who continue to live and work on this land to this day. And we honor their elders who have stewarded this land throughout generations. Thank you. So, as a nonprofit, we obviously can't do the kind of programs that we do throughout the year without lots and lots of major funding support. So we want to thank the National Endowment for the Arts, who believes that a great nation deserves great art. We want to thank the New York State Council on the Arts with the support of the New York Legislature and Governor Kathy Hochul, the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, the Queensborough President Donovan Richards, the Howard Gilman Foundation, the Guru Krupa Foundation, the Fan Fox and Leslie R. Samuels Foundation, the New York City Council, our board of directors, members, volunteers, and our tiny but mighty staff. So in case you need to leave the room for any reason, there are exits behind you and to my left as well. And if you have any questions, I'll be in the back of the house, so feel free to come and ask me. Mini-Global Mashups are a much smaller version of our very, very popular global mashups that we've been doing for about 10 years now. With COVID and with social distancing and being really cautious in our small space, we decided that there's no way at this point in time that we can have the full-scale global mashup, which are two huge bands. And for as many of you know, we pull out a dance floor, we have dance lessons, etc. So we conceived, with the help of Frank London, whom you'll meet in a moment, we conceived of Mini-Global Mashups, which are two performers from two completely different cultures with an accompanist. Now, we do have a dance floor, a small dance floor, so feel free, if you're so moved, get up and dance, move around, make yourselves comfortable and happy. Today, we have Ireland meets Morocco, and our next Mini-Global Mashup, which is June 12th, is Tibet meets Colombia. So we hope that you'll come back for that as well. So let's see, let me go find my colleague here. I'll be right back. There you are. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the very, very wonderful curator of our Mini-Global Mashup series, who was actually playing in San Francisco yesterday and took the red eye back to be here today. Please welcome ethnomusicologist, scholar, educator, composer, performer, all-around general cool guy. Please welcome Frank London. Oh, and food freak as well.
Thank you, Ellen. Well, I've never been introduced with the first three of those adjectives, so thank you. Today I'm glad you're all here. The weather's beautiful. It's finally, it's kind of, whatever. This is a very special program today. I'd probably say that each one, because each one is like not only one new world, but two new worlds and seeing worlds collide. So let's just talk less. Please welcome to the stage the wonderful Samir LanGus. We were just talking. Samir is from Morocco, lives out in Brooklyn now. He's a Gnawa musician, and I'm sure he'll tell you, or maybe he won't, but Gnawa is one of the, there are many, many, many musical traditions in Morocco, many languages or dialects, depending what word you like to use. And he'll be playing an instrument called the Sintir. And welcome, Samir LanGus.
بوليلة بوليلة سهداني بوليلة والله يرحم بوليلة أهل ولي بوليلة بوليلة سهداني بوليلة والله يرحم بوليلة الله لي الله لي الله لي بوليلة بولا لي بولا لي ولا مشيلالي يا الدنيا ما يدومو يا دايم ولانا فهولاني زواني حوصوي بوليلا والله يرحم بوليلا يا الله لي يا الله لي يا الدنيا ما يدومو يا دايم ولانا يا العالي فكر شانا فرقوني لا حبابي فرقوني لا خوتي جابوني 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 من السودان سبقوني باعوني يلا لي بوليلا والله يرحم بوليلا سوداني بوليلا والله يرحم بوليلا كلي بوليلا والله يرحم بوليلا سهداني بوليلا يلا لي بوليلا ملكة جهنية جنية حريمية يلا لي بوليلا والله يرحم بوليلا Thank you. إله إلا الله صلى ونبينا يا مولاي محمد صلوا على الهادي يا الحبيب العربي صلى ونبينا يا نزور ونطوفه يا جبل عرفها يا الكعبة الشريفها يا بيت الله الحرام يا مولاي محمد صلوا على الهادي يا محمد نبينا يا شفيع فماته يا ولف الجواتاته لا إله إلا الله يا مولاي محمد اللهم صل على النبي الشفيع لعباده ويا شنقه بوليلة الله يرحم بوليلة شنقه بوليلة الله يرحم بوليلة شنقه بوليلة السيدي وينوب الله حيانا هواي وسيدي انا وينوب الله حيانا يا ميمتي يا مشيتي وخليتيني يا ابو قمني انا وسيدي انا وينوب الله انا وسيدي انا وشافي الله وهبوا لي انا وحن الله تعالى هبوا قمني انا وسيدي انا وينوب الله هبوا قمني انا وسيدي انا وينوب الله هابو هالي انا وسيدي انا ويحن الله هابو غمني انا وسيدي انا الصينية فضة هابو قمني انا وسيدي انا الكيسان بالله هابو قمني انا وسيدي انا البابا شامي هابو قمني انا وسيدي انا القمة منتيا هابو قمني انا وسيدي انا وينوب الله Thank you. بسم الله بديهنا بسم الله بديهنا بسم الله بدينا والنبي صلينا هبابا عيشة وويشة عيشة وويشة عيشة وويشة في الجبال تنادي همي مي مي متي لحنينها همي متي لحنينها همي متي لحنينها السمرة ديما هبابا بابا يا علال هبابا يا علال هبابا يا علال ساكن الجبال همي مي مي متي لحنينها همي متي لحنينها همي متي لحنينها الصبر ديما سلبتوني ليتوني ها فالله بجايا فالله بجايا ها فالله بجايا والكريم سيدي بابا الدنيا غدارة الدنيا ما يدوموا الدنيا غدارة ما تدوم فيها ها بابا وش كان سبابي وش كان سبابي وش كان سبابي حتى عيروني سلبتوني بليتوني ها فالله بجايا فالله بجايا ها فالله بجايا والكريم سيدي Thank you. Can I have some of my voice on the monitor? Thank you. So I was supposed to play 2 songs and I think I already played 6 songs because each song has like 3 songs within 1 song. So I'm just gonna play the last 2 songs. It's 1 song actually, but it has 2 songs, so I'm just gonna say 2 songs. Back in Morocco, you just say 1 song and it's like 5 songs. صلي على النبي يا ما دامت الايام دايمة والليالي حيالي والهيمة هيا لالا عيشة لالا يا عيشة وعويشة لالا والسكنة في الجبال يا الله يا مولاة الويدان يا الله والسكنة في الويدان يا الله يا عيشة قنديشة لا لا عيشة يا والله صلي على النبي يا ما دامت الايام دايمة والليالي حياني والهيمة ضيشت به هيا الكريم الله هيا الوحيد الله هيا المعبود الله هيا الغني الله سبحانه من لينا سيدي ضامن الرزاق واحد وعد ونسعاه هو يعلم ما باقي يا مولاي محمد صلى الله عليه يا والله مصلي على النبي the first one. This is the second one. You guys can join me if you want. You can clap with me. Don't be shy. You can clap. لك حبيب الله ويا الله هيا المعبود الله ويا الله هو يا لالا عيشة ولالا يا عيشة وعيشة ولالا يا سكنة في الجبال يا الله يا مولاة الويدان يا الله وعيشة وعيشة ولالا يا عيشة قنديشة ولالا لك كريم الله الوحيد الله المعبود الله بيتوب الله ويسبحانه مالي يا ربي مالي مالي من دون الناس واحد ملك وهاني انا بيت عساس مولاي ادريس الوالي سيدي وعمرته فاس الكريم الله المعبود الله الوحيد الله الجبار الله لا اله الا الله الكريم الله الله ديم 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 Thank you so much, guys. So that was my last song. We'll get back. I'm sure you guys have some questions, but we'll get to that at the end of the day. Thank you.
Samir LanGus. Samir will be back. That was fantastic. I have lots of questions. You know there's a Q&A afterwards, so I have a lot of questions for him. But that was fantastic. One more round of applause for Samir LanGus. Okay. Moving many miles in different direction. We have so proud to present two of the greatest exponents of Irish music, both of whom actually, everyone we're presenting in this series lives in New York, and many of them actually, Cillian, who you're about to hear, actually lives in Queens. So please welcome to the stage the guitarist and violinist who works with Eileen Ivor's band, Matt Mancuso. Come on out, Matt. And who will be working with and accompanying the great piper, musician, and wonderful person, Cillian Vallely. I knew I was going to Cillian. And Cillian is, I don't know if you're the leader or one of the main people in the band, Lunasa. So just wonderful musicians. And if you love this concert very much and you want to drink later tonight or this afternoon, you can go to the Dead Rabbit. The Dead Rabbit down in the financial district. They'll be playing there. It's a pub. But for now, we have you at Flushing Town Hall. Cillian, Matt, audience, have fun.
Thank you, Frank. I think I'm going to start by putting the reed back in to the chanter. Get a look at how the pipes sound.
That's my favorite part of the show.
Hopefully it's in tune when I put it back in. Okay, we're going to get straight into it with a few Irish tunes, a few Irish jigs. And these are called The Humours of Drina and Chucky to Awalyalam, which in English means, will you come home with me? Let me just check that tune. Okay, thank you. Going to go ahead. Next tune's a wee bit slower. It's kind of a hornpipe or a set dance. It's a very old tune. I think it's what they call an O'Carolan tune, composed by Turlough O'Carolan. It's called O'Reilly from Athcarn, and I learned this from a great accordion player, Paddy O'Brien. So that's the first one, and then two tunes that I learnt at the Armagh Pipers Club, where I learnt traditional music from my parents, who may or may not be watching on the internet today. Hello if you are. But I learnt these tunes at the Pipers Club, and the first one is called Willie Clancy's Reel, and the second one is called Sean Reed's, named after two very well-known and highly regarded players. Okay. Okay, I'll switch instruments for one tune. I'll do a tune in the whistle. This is a tin whistle, or more specifically a low whistle, but a bigger tin whistle. This is the instrument that everybody growing up in Ireland, or most people growing up in Ireland, would start on. Simplest and cheapest instrument you can get. And I certainly would have started on this before the pipes. So I think I'll do a type of tune. It's a hornpipe, 4/4, but a bit slower. This is a tune called The Humours of Tully Crane, and it's another one I would have learned from my family growing up. And the second one is a tune called Gallagher's Frolics. That's going to be a jig. So I'll play this for my family who are here. My 3 daughters and wife are all here today. So we'll play this for Kira, Sinead, Emer, and Katie. Sorry, the whistle got a bit cold at the start there. All right, I'm going to do one more on the pipes. This is a slow tune, a slow air that's very well known. It's called Port Nabuki. Translates as the song of the puka, or the song of the ghost. It's from the Blasket Islands of the coast of County Kerry. But I learned this from a great Donegal musician called Tommy Peoples. So I'll be, you might see all the different parts of it. These are uilleann pipes. Uilleann is an Irish language word that translates as your elbow. Never call them elbow pipes, but that's what it might translate at literally, because you use the bellows to blow up the bag. They're a type of bagpipe, but instead of blowing in, you pump with the bellows. The chanter is where you play the melody. It's like the flute or clarinet or something like that. It has a lot of different keys. Then you have the drone. Three octaves of D. And then you'll hear these more on this piece, and these are called the regulators, and they play the harmony or chords. So this piece will have all of that, and hopefully in tune. Thank you. So it was the pipes in all their glory. We're going to do something a bit different now, and it was a big part of the series, the mashup. And so we got out here earlier this morning. We met Samir, and we worked up a couple of tunes together. So please welcome back Samir.
Me out of a job, man.
Oh, sorry, Frank.
Is he ready? Do you see? Is Samir standing there? Give a round of applause, please. You're being too humble. Cillian, Matt, I'll go get him. Samir.
So it might be at least one of the first Sintir uilleann pipes combinations. Definitely it'll be first castanets and uilleann pipes. So we're going to try a set of 3 tunes. In Irish music, we like to do sets of 3, beginning, middle, and end. I'm going to start with a sort of a slower version of a very common reel called Rolling in the Ryegrass. And then we'll do The Lark in the Morning and Bill Hart's Jig. These are all very, very old and very well-known standard traditional tunes that you'd hear in every gathering and pub session, or they're as old as recordings have been. So I'm going to let the lads take it away here. a song from Samir's End of Things. I think it'll be very obvious within about 4 bars, but I thought it worth saying. Are you on?
الله الله يا تهب كل لا يا تهب تهب هاتب كل لا الله الله يا تهب كل لا يا مولاكم يا مولا جنوية داويني العزهز عليا جنقا جنقا بولي لو توبة توبة هاتوب كولي لو يا والله ما ناكل بلالو وانا ويضا نهفي كبشيه توبة توبة توب كولي لو توبة وي توب كولي لو مولاكم ويا تهب كل ليلة مولا الجنوية تهب كل ليلة والله ما ناكل بلالا وهنا ويضرب نهي في كبشي يا والله ما ناكل بلالا وانا ويضرب نهي في كبشي تهب كل هلا تهب كل هلا مولاكم ويا تهب كل هلا تهويني تهب كل هلا مولا جنوية تهب كل هلا والله ما ناكل بلالا وانا ويضا نهي في كبشي تهب 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 كل ليلة هو يا كشنقا شنقا هاب وليلة تهب تهب هاتب كل ليلة يا والله ما ناكل بلالا وانا ويضا نهي في كبشي هو يا كشنقا شنقا هاب وليلة تهب تهب هاتب كل ليلة تهب ويا مولاكم ويا مولا جنوية تهبى ويك تهبى ويك مولا كمية مولا جنوية تهوينية عزيزة عليا والله ما انا كل بلاله يا هناوي ضرني في كرشي ياك جنقا بوليلة والله ما انا نمشي لبلاله والله ما انا كل معزة ترى كل ليلة ترى كل ليلة لا كمية لا جنوية داوينية عزيزة عليا ترى كل ليلة ترى كل ليلة كل ليلة كل ليلة
That was on, off. Okay, we'll get it. That was fantastic. That was fantastic. I have so many thoughts. I hope you do also. I'll kick it off. But if people have comments or questions or anything, there's this. Oh, there you go. So we can pass the mics around.
I'm usually.
Samir and Cillian and Matt, please, one more round of applause. It's funny, I do have more intelligent questions to ask, but I'm going to ask a question which I hate when people ask me. Did you enjoy that? I really enjoyed that. And listen, we're musicians, but we're also performers, we're actors, so we look like it. But I really did.
Yes.
Very much so.
I do.
Yeah. But why? Well, because it was easy, because it was hard, because it seemed natural, because it was a challenge, or just because there was a sort of a musical connection or a personal or all that?
I was happy to be invited.
Okay. If that didn't go anywhere, I'll go somewhere else if that doesn't go anywhere. We got really lucky. Sometimes you have to really just be thankful to things. We planned a lot. I forgot the fact that especially the pipes and the Sintir they're not chromatic instruments. You can't just play like in any key. And it just turns out that both of these instruments are based on the same note, the D. What would have happened, Matt and I were talking about, what would have happened if Cillian's pipes were in D and Samir's Sintir was in C sharp? It would have been a very different experience. But that got me thinking philosophically, is there any reason why D is the note that so many instruments are tuned to? There you go. That's a strange philosophical. Is it just coincidence or something more?
I don't know. It definitely. Well, Irish music. A lot of the music is based around D because of the pipes.
Because of the pipes.
The pipes are one of the oldest instruments. So, there's fiddle is probably the most popular instrument now, and banjo and accordion are very, very popular, way more prevalent than the pipes, but and they can play. So there is a lot of music, I think slightly more modern music that's in keys that suit them that you could never play in the pipes. But if you look through the old collections of music, nearly all the music is playable on the pipes.
But Samir, with your instrument, is this because in a moment we're going to talk about their connection to tradition, and that's, I think, an important thing. But just in terms of something like this, was that always the case, or is that more modern now that people travel to the West and are playing with different things, that it was tuned to a D, or is that?
Yeah, I mean, it can be tuned into different keys, but just the basic, the natural, the organic tune is on D. So it just feels natural and organic when you do it in a ceremony.
Good. Okay, so now he brought up, good, let's go somewhere else. Samir brought up, do it in a ceremony. Music, we're enjoying this. It was a great concert. There was some dancing, there was some clapping. But often music is not only for listening to, but it's part of a bigger experience. So what is the sort of natural home of Gnawa music when you're not on a concert stage? Where is it performed and what purpose does it serve?
Yeah, it's performed in these nights that we call ceremonies. It's a lila. Lila in Arabic is a night. And we have colors and we have spirits. You know, we have 7 colors and each color represents a spirit. And that's when we play it. And it's mostly for people to be healed. Like if someone is possessed by a spirit, or someone has like a bad day or not feeling good for a couple months. And that happens a lot in Morocco when you see people going to the doctors and, you know, it just doesn't match with their body. Like they need something spiritually. So they go to a shaman, which is the muqaddima, who is going to hire the master who plays the gimbri. So they organize the ceremony for that specific person. And if that person is possessed by, let's say, the green spirit, then the maestro is going to focus more on the green part, so that person can really feel satisfied and get the satisfaction that they need. But he's not going to just go and play the green color just because that woman, you know, she's the one who is holding the ceremony. No, he has to go with the order of the ceremony. He starts with the drums, and then we go to the non-color songs. We call them the sons of Bambara, Ulad Bambara. And then you go to the white, then you go to the green. And the green has 2 parts, like the first part, and then you play certain colors, and then you go to the second part. It's very complicated, where it's different from, the order is different from one city to another. So if you go to Casablanca, it's different than Agadir. If you go to Marrakesh, it's different than the north, in Tangier. So, and all of this, you don't study it in a school. You have to be with the masters. You have to hang with them. That's the only way you can learn. And it's very complicated.
This is good. As an aside, I'm going to pick up right where you left off, but as an aside, if any of you were here last month when we had Alessandro Belloni playing the Southern Italian tarantella, and Abdoulaye Faye was playing the sabar, and both of them spoke basically of the exact same purpose of the ritual, of the drumming as a healing thing. Of course, the specifics were all different. But with that kind of in mind, I want to talk about the tradition and the learning, but first, is there anything to say about the function of the Irish music, what it's used? I mean, I would be shocked if it was part of a healing ritual, but maybe it is in a way.
No, I don't think, I mean, that's fascinating to me, but I don't know of any equivalent. It's more, I would say more a celebration, always an occasion, you know, whether it be a wedding or a party or even there is definitely playing when people have died, and there's definitely a sort of a keen history of keening or singing, you know, after somebody has died, but not so much healing. I don't know of anything of that.
But it serves a social function. That's the
I
point.
think, of course, yeah, and it's interesting because that has changed, over the last couple of 100 years. It was buried. The English obviously tried to wipe Irish music out, like all parts of Irish culture, and then also the Catholic Church were very anti-Irish music, removed it from church ceremonies, and so it kind of was a bit of an underground kind of a movement. But people, any chance they got, they obviously, it never. The thing about playing in the pubs is a very modern concept too. So it was, I suppose, in people's houses, and they used to dance at the crossroads. You see old photographs of gathering at just somewhere in the country, because that was one of the only places that could actually do it.
So this actually leads something. Samir and I were talking backstage earlier, and he was. I hope I reported correctly. You were telling me that at your age and where you are in your career, you feel like a responsibility first, or maybe an obligation to first learn the traditional material and present it, and probably because there is so much to learn, almost before you get to be yourself as an individual and start writing your own, you have to, or you feel obligated to it. And I want to ask all of you, and Matt, join in. Matt and I are fellow Brooklynites, so with all the complexity of that. But do you feel, in a sense, I'm trying to find the right word, an obligation, a responsibility to a culture that you're part of this this older and bigger thing, and how does that affect how you see your role, or is it just, no, I'm just playing music and I just do it for myself? I don't know.
Me or something?
Yeah, both of each, not at the same time, but you.
I mean, as they say, like, before you break the rules, you have to know them.
Yeah.
So basically, that's what I'm doing. Like, I have to know the whole, because like it doesn't matter how much you know, there is always a lot, and you cannot just be like, oh, okay, that's it. I know everything. You always have to keep learning, and the way they say, like, listen to learn and learn to listen. So that's how I always phrase this. And at this age now, like I'm 32, I'm 31, gonna be 32 in July. I have songs of my own that are inspired by Gnawa music and the tradition, but I cannot have them out there now at this age, because people will look at me, they're like, who you think you are? Like, you can just come in and just put like a music that you're like, oh, can be in the traditional repertoire. No, so that's why I'm waiting until I get a little older. That's when I would be like, okay, yes, this was written when I was 32. This was written when I was 35,
But do you feel okay about that? Like,
yeah, I'm happy.
Oh,
I'm cool, yeah, because that's how it is in the tradition. You always have to respect the old masters, and because it's like old school, you cannot argue with them. If they say it one way, you have to be like, yes, sir. And that's it.
I think in Irish music especially, that's been shattered, maybe not for the best reasons, because now people learning traditional Irish music, it's so watered down. You could go on YouTube, type in traditional Irish music, and 50 different things could come up. It could be a guy playing bagpipes from New Jersey, which really has nothing to do with Ireland. No offense to the Jersey bagpipers. I hope you didn't make it in here today anyway. But so as a kid from Brooklyn, I loved traditional music, and now I do, like Frank, a bit of everything, But when I was younger, I went to Ireland, and I loved it, and I still love it, But our tradition has been, ours, Cillian's, I guess I'm part of it too at this stage. I'm doing it long enough, but it's completely watered down, and maybe if we took a little time, like Samir did, you'd get a little better end product. And if you go to an Irish festival today, you might not even hear an Irish song. which is a little strange to even
Well,
hear that.
yeah, but if you go to the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage
Exactly,
Festival,
yeah,
you might
yeah,
not hear any New Orleans jazz or.
yeah, you know.
But are you going to? I know he's your buddy and your friend, but are you going to agree with what he's saying? Because I noticed you mentioned almost every time you played a song who you learned it from, and I totally agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky, very lucky. Both my parents played and were teachers, so they taught me, and I grew up, I don't remember starting to play. I just went along to their classes. There were group classes. They had a music school, and so to be honest, when it comes to that question of responsibility, and I don't think about it too much. I certainly don't torture myself. If I'm like tonight, I played. Everything was really old traditional music. But if I play next month with somebody else, it might be newly composed. Music loosely based on a structure of Irish music. But that doesn't bother me. I don't, and I think some people get, there is a watering down, but I think there's also people can get too precious, and it can become a very narcissistic thing. Some people like everybody to play the way they want it. Like if I was to give out to every young piper who didn't play the way me or my father played, and you get people like that all over Irish music.
Your father was a piper also?
Yeah. So some people, they go too far down that road of this is, it's a music and it evolves over time, and as Samir says, you have to learn it. You have to do your apprenticeship, and sometimes some people it's like me, you learn from your family. Some people they learn from YouTube videos now, recordings, internet Zoom lessons. There's many paths to get there, and I've been in America a long time. Some of the players here are as good as anybody. There's great players,
Especially the Italians.
Even Italians from Brooklyn. There's two of them at least. But there's great Irish traditional musicians in France, in Germany, in Spain, in Italy, in England, America, Canada, wherever you go, who've learned it, and it's probably a lot more work to get there, but I think the tradition is very, very strong. In Ireland, among children, it's incredible now. The level of player and all these instruments is amazing. So,
which actually, that goes against what you were saying about the watered down. I think they both exist. The watered down and the very.
When I first went to Ireland in 1989, I was 2 years old, but I was shocked. I just thought everybody played Irish music. I just assumed, And then when I started dating my wife now, who's from not too far where Cillian is, nobody played Irish music. And I was, what do you mean you don't play it? And I was like Cillian. I was almost like in a way like, well, how could you not know? But it's quadrupled the amount of people that play in Ireland now. It's nuts,
Do you also come from a family of musicians, Samir?
Yeah, but not professionally, just for fun. Yeah, my mom can just be having breakfast or lunch, and then she just bring the cups and the teacups and start playing, and they have a fiesta, And you look at them, you're like, guys, what are we doing? And we're here the whole day, and then they're like, here, just go find something to eat, cook it your own. Who do you think you are? I'm like, Mom, I'm a kid, I need to eat. Okay, in a few hours.
I never had that problem.
No, me either. My grandfather owned a delicatessen in Brooklyn Heights. I never had that problem. We're talking a lot, but are there any questions from any of you all or comments? Or the floor is, if you get inspired, John. Oh, in the back. Just say, well, I'll repeat it.
Questions from the chat. As you all know, we're live streaming this. So the first question is, what is the name of the tin whistle song in the Irish set?
it was called The humours of Tully Crine.
Humors with a U, I assume.
Yes. Yeah, spelled correctly, yeah.
And then the second question from the chat is, this is for Samir, what is meant by colors in music? The person who wrote in says, I am a synesthesiac, and I associate sounds and notes with different colors and with patterns, but I'm not sure that's what's being referred to here when you talk about colors.
Yeah, I mean, we have the basically like the people that brought this music from the West to the North Africa, they were associating the colors with the gods. But in Morocco, we have them as spirits. So, you know, you have the green color, and then you have the red that represents love, but at the meantime, it represents blood as well. And then you have the yellow color, which is the ladies' color. Because we have a female part, like on the whole ceremony that's played at the end of the night. And especially the yellow color is being played at 6 a.m. That means the sunrise, and that represents the sun. So you have the yellow. And then you have the black, that represents the forest. And we have the blue, light blue and dark blue, that represents the sky and the sea. And then you have the multicolor that represents just like this whole spirits being mashed up together, as we are doing now, you know. So it's very complicated. Like when it comes to the tradition, that's why I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter how much I can share today. It's nothing compared to, because people like, there are books that are written about Gnawa music, but still we never get the feeling of what it means until you are sitting there and watching it live, where you see people going in trance, and then you're like, whoa, what's going on? And there was a little story that happened, because a lot of people say that Jimi Hendrix went to Essaouira, but I don't know, there is nothing being documented. But they said that Jimi Hendrix was in Essaouira and he was attending a Gnawa ceremony. And the master who was playing was Ma'allim Abdurrahman Paco. He passed away a couple years ago. And then, you know, everyone was playing, then they played all the colors and everyone was happy. They're like, okay, that's it, you know, we finished. And there was one guy still crawling on the floor. He couldn't stop and he was screaming. And everyone was looking at him, they're like, whoa, you know, we're done. Because the maestro got tired in the middle of the night and he passed the gimbri to his student. So his student didn't know the guy, didn't know how to play his songs very precise. So he just like, he mentioned the songs like we're playing, but then he didn't go deep into the song and he just went to the next one. And then they like, oh, we don't know what's wrong with this guy. So they went and they woke up the maestro. They're like, maestro, we don't know what's wrong with this guy. And he looked at his student and he's like, did you play this song? And he's like, yeah, I mean, I just touched it, but then I passed to the next one. He's like, okay, give me the instrument. So he took the Sintir and he played that song for the guy, and that guy felt good. And that's when Jimi Hendrix called the maestro like the doctor of spirits. It's like you knew what's going on with this guy, you know what's wrong with his spirit, so you fixed him. You know, the colors are a little bit, we can be talking about that for the whole day and still there will be a lot of confusion.
Anything else? Anyone else? I gotta say that when the three of you sat down together, the very first few notes, I was like, this is the most natural combination of instruments and sounds. It was like, well, why hasn't this happened all the time? Because it just, you know, and probably if you had a day or two to rehearse, you'd come up with all different ways of doing it. And okay, this is really lovely. Let's have a very large round of applause for our guest. Next month, help me out, Ellen. What's the date of next month's performance?
June 12th.
June 12th. We have here at Flushing Town Hall in our Common Ground Global Mashup, an artist who is no stranger to Town Hall, Martin Vejarano, who is a young, you should meet him. He's also someone who's getting into the traditions from Colombia. He's playing clarinet and percussion. And he'll be playing with this is, I have no idea what they're gonna do, with Young Chen, who is a Tibetan a cappella singer. So I'm really trusting that they're going to find something very unique together. And then look at the schedule, look at the website. Thank you. Another round of applause for these great artists.
I think we have a,
Oh, wait.
I think we have a question.
Oh,
Yeah, one for Samir. It's a Sintir, is what you call that instrument?
Sintir.
well, but
S-I-N-T-I-R.
he used two names.
I use 4 names actually.
Okay, good.
And that's the thing, like you may hear me saying the Sintir, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, the maestro was playing the gimbri, and then you're like, what's
Yeah,
the gimbri?
so is it the same?
It's the same, yeah.
And what are the other two?
Hejhouj. And then the third one is like Awisha, which is like Awisha, it's a smaller version of this. It's like closer to Nguni. So that's Awisha, Gimbri, Hejhouj, Sintir, and then Gugu as well. So I don't know, names just came. So just whenever you go to Africa, just expect the unexpected all the time. Because they will tell you one thing and then they will mention a different name that represents the same thing, and it's just gonna drive you crazy and just gonna be confused. So just get used to that.
I hope that answered your question. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Reggae, 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 reggae.